Welcome back to the channel, my brothers. I hope you're all well. My name's Andy R, and this is the Brotherhood of Men. And you, who've been watching this channel for a while, know what today is. That's right. Red Flag Friday.
Ooh, is that a red flag?
Yeah, today is Red Flag Friday. The day that I explain one or two red flags to watch out for if you're in the dating market. These are things that are going to keep you safe, because although I've done a video all about red flags, and if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. And in that I explain that any red flags that you ignore at the beginning are probably going to be the reason you split up at the end. So, what's today's red flag? Well, today I think it's a doozy. So today's red flag, because I don't give it away in the thumbnail, you have to watch the video to find out what it is. And today is masculine energy. Yeah, if you come across a woman who comes across with a lot of masculine energy, trying to act like a man, although she doesn't have the todger and the balls to back it up with, you're going to have problems, because you're constantly going to be fighting for dominance in that relationship. Now, where does this idea of trying to be a man, not act like a man, but be a man, comes from for these women? Well, I think it goes back to about the 1980s. For a start, it's a feminist idea, and feminism, as we know, is a cancer for relationships. In society in general, it is just toxic. But the idea of acting like a man goes back, I think, to about around the 1980s. It was that idea in business, and that's specifically what it was aimed at, to act more like a man in business, not in your personal lives, because men just aren't attracted to women who act with masculine energy. We're attracted to femininity. We're masculine already. If we were attracted to masculine energy, we'd be gay, and we're not. As a straight man, you're attracted to feminine energy. The polar opposite of what you are is what attracts you. But in the 1980s, a lot of films, a lot of articles, and a lot of reporting was brought out about women not achieving the same goals as men in business. Now, feminists straight away blamed men, but more calm heads said it's because men deal in business in a different way to women. So then feminists jumped on that and said, you need to be like a man. But specifically in the business world is what they should have said, but they didn't. They just said, you need to be more like a man, to be treated like a man. In the business world, it was good advice, and that was advice coming from psychologists, sociologists, and anthropologists, and they explained it like this. Men in business are more forceful. They're more likely to argue their point. But a female nature is more agreeable. That's why they're so much more able to communicate as groups than men tend to. Now, men in business, if they felt they deserved a raise or they deserved a promotion or something, they were more likely to go into their boss's office with the information to back up their argument and quite literally argue their point, to say, I believe I deserve a promotion or I deserve a pay rise because of XYZ. So they'd say something like, I've been putting in more hours, been bringing in better results for the company. I've made the business more profitable through my efforts. And all I want from you, my boss or the company, HR, whatever, is for you to recognize my efforts financially or with a better position. So you don't go in to argue your position from weakness. You go to show the evidence that this is what I've done for the company, and I think you should reward me for it. Now, men are quite prepared to argue that point, are quite prepared to go into somebody's office, and it's usually another man, but even if it's a woman, and say, these are the reasons I think you should be rewarding me because I've been putting in the effort. Now, men would probably put in the hours, put in the overtime, put in the effort to show what they're doing and hope that those above them would recognise their contribution and automatically increase their wages or give them a promotion. But if a man saw that that wasn't happening, he then put down the information, went in and argued that point. And this is what psychologists, sociologists, anthropologists were showing, that men will do this. Reports came out to show the difference between men and women in business. Women were more agreeable. They were likely to sit back, and even if they did do the hard work, if they didn't get the promotion, if they didn't get the financial reward, they were more likely to suck it up, less likely to go and argue their point. And this is what the report showed. So what psychologists and sociologists, etc., were saying to women is, if you want the rewards, you've got to argue the point. You've got to be more like a man. But feminists took that to say, be a man. Not be more like a man in business, but generally in all throughout life. Be more like a man. So that's what women started to do. They started to be more boisterous, they started to be aggressive, they started to be argumentative. And this is a turn-off to men, because as I said at the beginning of this video, men are attracted to femininity. We like the fact that women are more agreeable. Not that they're going to agree with us, but agreeable. So if the group says, hey, let's go so-and-so, and one woman says, oh, that place is rubbish, I don't want to go there, or that's crap, or blah, blah, blah. Now all of a sudden she's turned and created drama and chaos within the group. So she'll either get listened to, which will annoy the group, or she will be left out, and that just makes her bitter. Because in her mind, all she's doing is being forceful like a man, instead of agreeable and going along and seeing if she does enjoy the time, wherever it is that they were going to go, maybe for a meal or to a club or to a pub or on holiday, whatever. But she will become bitter if she gets then left out. And this is what tended to happen to women who were too aggressive, too masculine. Now, if it's a very attractive woman, men will put up with that masculine energy just so they can sleep with them. But there's the problem again. That's all they wanted. They didn't want to wife them up, and they certainly didn't want to have a long-term relationship, and God forbid they didn't want to have children with them, because they knew inherently that all they were going to do was be bumping heads like two rams in a field for who's going to be dominant in that relationship. So these women was more and more cases of them being left on the sideline and only being successful in the hookup. They might end up being quite successful in business because they're acting more like a man in the business world, but they couldn't switch off and be feminine in their private lives. So it was true what that original report was saying, that they needed to act more masculine, fight their corner, argue their case in the business world. But women had a problem then with switching that emotion off in their private life and becoming more feminine, where they lived in their femininity. And men found it, and still find it, unattractive in a woman. And if you meet a woman who's got all that male masculine energy, she's literally acting as though she's got a foot and a half of todger swinging between her legs. But the truth is, she doesn't have the balls to back that energy up. So she'll get in a man's face, screaming the most horrendously horrible things at him, telling him he's worthless, he's this, he's that, he's all of the terrible things that you could think to be screamed at you, in the knowledge that he isn't going to retaliate to her like he would if a man did that to her. And this was that problem for them, is a man is going to be held responsible for his words and actions by another man. You're going to end up getting physical with each other. If some guy comes screaming in your face and calling you horrendously horrible names and accusing you of terrible things, you two are going to end up sorting it out physically. But because a man's taught you can't do that with a woman, and we know that women are physically weaker than us, and it wouldn't really be a fair fight, which there's no such thing really as a fair fight, but we know that we would dominate them. We have to suck it up, but that doesn't mean we have to like it. All that happens is men start going, you I want nothing to do with. You are horrible, you're toxic, you come with this masculine energy, and I don't even want to sleep with you, even if you are beautiful, because you are vile. So women start getting pushed out more and more away from the chance of a long-term relationship or marriage. So they start to become bitter. And again, we'll blame men for that bitterness. Oh, it's all men's fault. It's men doing this. They can't put up with a strong woman. No, we like strong women. We just don't like masculine women because we're not gay. We like feminine women. So if you come across a woman who's got that masculine energy, walk away now. Like I said at the beginning of this video, the red flags you ignore at the beginning of the relationship are most likely to be what splits you up at the end of the relationship, because that thing that you don't like, you are attracted to her because she's beautiful, she's got a nice body, she's fairly young maybe, and all of those boxes are ticked as a yes, but this masculine energy is going to be you and her butting heads like two rams in a field trying to decide who's the dominant one. And you as a man know that you should be the dominant one. You shouldn't have to fight that. And if you find yourself a feminine woman, she's naturally going to look to your strength. She's not going to try and get you to accept her strength as though she's in charge. So this is why I say, big red flag, one you should probably avoid, is a woman with masculine energy. A woman who tries to be a man but hasn't got the balls to back up that male energy. She's not going to fight you because she knows she has a weakness. She knows she can't match you physically, but she's going to act like she can. And these women are also the ones who are most likely to start knocking that man about. And let's be honest, when it comes to that sort of thing, domestic abuse, 40% of domestic abuse cases are men. But we don't have all of these shelters and government backing and everything for us. We don't have a day. We don't have it mentioned in the news every second minute about how you shouldn't be hitting a man. And they try and get away with it. And men put up with it until they've had enough and get out. And women never learn this lesson. You don't lay your hands on anybody unless you're prepared for the consequences. Men, we're the only ones who can hold other men and women accountable for their actions. And to do that, we say, we don't want you. And the women with this masculine energy hate that. They're getting left out in the cold. They're getting avoided. They're going to get men who will probably just jump into bed with them but want nothing more to do with them, and that just makes them more and more and more bitter and more and more and more masculine, because instead of correcting their ways, they double down. So if you've got a woman in your life who's got all this masculine energy, ask yourself this question: is that attractive? No, of course it's not. Anyway, do you agree with me? Let me down in the comments below. Do you disagree with me? Again, in the comments down below. Talk to me. Tell me, have you met women like this? That masculine energy, in your face, screaming, argumentative, almost bullying attitude. And what did you do about it? Did you just go, bye-bye, not interested? Anyway, if you look down and the subscribe button's red, you're not subscribed. Why not? Come on in, join the Brotherhood. Hit that button, give it a good old smash, turn it grey. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon because, well, for some reason those two only tend to work together. But it will ensure that you don't miss out on great future content from this channel. And I'm trying to grow this channel. I absolutely am. And everything that you have, like subscribing, comments, if nothing else, give the video a like and share this video with somebody. Maybe you know somebody who's got that woman who's just a little bit too masculine, just a little bit too much of that energy. Well, share it with them. Anyway, my name's Andy R. I'm going to go for a cup of tea because I think I've earned one. You, my brothers out there, you take care of yourself, because if you don't, who will? And I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.